A single dad did something brave. He saved a teacher's disabled daughter from danger. He took 2 bullets to protect her. But after this, a shocking truth came out. Everyone was surprised by what they discovered. This story will change how you see things. Before you watch full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. The rain hammered against the windows of Riverside Elementary School that November morning. Inside classroom 3B, Sarah Mitchell stood at the whiteboard, writing vocabulary words. She had no idea that in 7 minutes, her entire life would change forever. Emma Carter sat in the front row, her wheelchair positioned perfectly so she could see the board. The 9-year-old girl had cerebral palsy, and while her body didn't always cooperate with her brilliant mind, her eyes sparkled with intelligence. "Miss Mitchell, can I read the next paragraph?" Emma's voice was soft, requiring effort to push each word out. Sarah smiled warmly. "Of course, sweetheart." As Emma began reading, Sarah felt that familiar tightness in her chest. Emma reminded her of someone. Someone she had lost. Someone whose memory still woke her up at night, drowning in guilt. The classroom door burst open. Sarah looked up and saw Daniel Carter, Emma's father. His face was pale, hands shaking. "Sarah, you need to leave. Right now. He's here." Before she could respond, another figure appeared behind Daniel. Sarah's blood turned to ice. Tyler Bennett. Her ex-boyfriend. The man she had left 3 years ago after discovering his violent temper. The man who had threatened her for months. The man she thought was gone forever. "Sarah." Tyler's voice boomed through the hallway. "We need to talk." Daniel immediately stepped between Tyler and the classroom door. "Sir, you need to leave. There are children here." "Get out of my way," Tyler snarled. "This is between me and her." Sarah pressed the emergency button under her desk. "Students, move to the back of the classroom. Quickly and quietly." The children obeyed. Emma tried to will herself backward, but her arms weren't strong enough. "Emma, stay still, baby," Daniel said softly, guiding his daughter's wheelchair to the back corner. Tyler's eyes locked on Sarah. 3 years, Sarah. 3 years you've been hiding. You got me fired. You destroyed my life. "Tyler, please," Sarah's voice cracked. "We can talk somewhere else. Not here. Not in front of these children. You called my boss. You told him lies." Tyler screamed, pulling something from his jacket. "A gun. I lost everything because of you." Sarah's heart stopped. She had called his employer after Tyler broke into her apartment and threatened her. The restraining order hadn't been enough. Daniel's voice cut through the tension. "Put the gun down. Whatever happened between you two, this isn't the way." Tyler laughed bitterly. "Who are you? Her new boyfriend?" "I'm just a father protecting his daughter and these kids," Daniel said calmly. "You pull that trigger, your life is over. Really over." Tyler hesitated. His hand wavered. But then his gaze hardened. "She needs to pay." Everything happened in slow motion. Tyler raised the gun, pointing it at Sarah. Daniel moved without thinking. He threw himself forward, positioning his body between the barrel and Sarah. The first shot exploded. Daniel's body jerked as the bullet tore through his left shoulder. He didn't fall. He pushed forward. The second shot came immediately. This one hit Daniel in his right side, just below his ribs. Blood bloomed across his shirt. Daniel collapsed, but his body crashed into Tyler, knocking the gun away. It skittered under a bookshelf. Sarah screamed and ran forward, catching Daniel's head. His blood was warm, spreading across her hands. "Emma," Daniel gasped, blood at the corner of his mouth. "Emma, baby, close your eyes." "Daddy." Emma's scream was pure terror. She tried to wheel herself forward, tears streaming. "Daddy, no!" Security guards burst through the door, tackling Tyler. Police sirens wailed outside. Sarah pressed her hands against Daniel's wounds, trying to stop the bleeding. "Stay with me, Daniel. Please stay with me." Daniel's eyes found hers. Even bleeding out, he managed a weak smile. "Had to protect you. Had to protect them." "Why? You don't even know me." Daniel's eyes drifted to Emma. "Because that's what fathers do. We protect. Even if it costs everything." "Daddy, please." Emma reached out, stretching from her wheelchair. "Please don't leave me. You're all I have." Paramedics rushed in. As they loaded Daniel onto a stretcher, his hand found Sarah's. "Promise me," he gasped. "If I don't make it, take care of Emma. Don't let her go into the system." "You're going to make it," Sarah insisted. "Emma needs you." As they wheeled him away, Emma's screams echoed down the hallway. Sarah gathered the little girl into her arms, holding her while she sobbed. The hospital waiting room was painted a sickly green. Sarah had called Daniel's emergency contacts. His parents were flying from Florida. His brother was driving from 2 states away. But for now, it was just Sarah and Emma. Emma had cried herself into exhaustion, head slumped against Sarah's side. A doctor emerged, scrubs stained with blood. "Family of Daniel Carter?" Sarah stood. "I'm his daughter's teacher." "How is he?" The doctor's expression was grim. "He's alive. Barely. The shoulder bullet missed major arteries, but the one in his side punctured his liver. He's lost significant blood. The next 24 hours are critical." "Can we see him?" "He's unconscious." "But yes, you can sit with him." In the ICU, Daniel lay surrounded by machines. His face was gray. Bandages covered his wounds. Emma's sob broke Sarah's heart. Sarah wheeled her closer and helped her take Daniel's hand. "Daddy, I'm here. Please wake up." Sarah stepped back, giving them space. Then her phone rang. Unknown number. "Is this Sarah Mitchell?" A woman's voice. "Yes, who's this?" "Rebecca Torres. Child Protective Services. I need to discuss placement for Emma Carter if Mr. Carter doesn't recover." Sarah's blood ran cold. "Placement? You mean taking her away?" "Mr. Carter is a single parent with no local family. If he's incapacitated, Emma needs temporary care." "No," Sarah said firmly. "Daniel asked me to care for Emma. I'm not letting her go into foster care." "You're not a legal guardian. You have no relation to the child. Your protocols are garbage," Sarah snapped. "That little girl just watched her father take 2 bullets. The last thing she needs is to be ripped away from everyone she knows. Unless Mr. Carter survives and makes legal arrangements, or unless you go through emergency foster certification, I have no choice. I'll collect Emma tomorrow morning." The line went dead. Sarah stood trembling with rage. She called her college roommate, Jennifer, a family lawyer. "Jen, I need emergency guardianship for a child. Right now." After Sarah explained, Jennifer was quiet. "It's complicated. Emergency guardianship requires court approval, background checks. But if Daniel wakes up and gives consent, he can designate you as temporary guardian. He's unconscious. Then we need him to wake up." At 3 a.m., Sarah jerked awake. Daniel's fingers were moving. "Daniel? Can you hear me?" His eyes fluttered open, unfocused. He looked at Emma, then Sarah. His lips moved without sound. Sarah grabbed a notepad and pressed it into his hand. "Write it." With tremendous effort, Daniel scrawled, "Protect Emma." "I will," Sarah promised, tears streaming. I swear. I won't let anyone take her. Daniel's eyes held hers, then closed again. But it was enough. He'd been awake. He'd communicated. When Jennifer arrived at 6 a.m. with guardianship papers, Sarah was ready. They explained everything to Daniel's doctor, who documented that Daniel had been conscious and expressed his wishes. By 9 a.m., when Rebecca Torres arrived with her clipboard, Sarah had emergency guardianship papers signed by a judge. Rebecca's face showed frustration. This is highly irregular. But legal, Jennifer said firmly. Emma stays with her. After Rebecca left, Sarah knelt beside Emma. Emma, would it be okay if you stayed with me while your daddy gets better? Emma looked at her unconscious father. Will you bring me to visit him every day? Every single day. Then okay. But only until daddy wakes up. Because he will wake up. Taking Emma home was surreal. Sarah's apartment wasn't adapted for a wheelchair. But they made it work. Sarah carried Emma when necessary, rearranged furniture, installed grab bars. The first night, Emma cried herself to sleep. Sarah sat beside her, holding her hand, singing soft lullabies. The second night was worse. Emma had nightmares, screaming for her father. Sarah held her, whispered reassurances. By the third night, Emma was too quiet. Barely eating. Barely speaking. Sarah called Daniel's doctor. She's shutting down. Let her see him. Bring her tomorrow. At the hospital, when Emma saw Daniel still breathing, something shifted. She wheeled to his bed and started talking. That became their routine. Every day after school, they visited. Emma talked to her father. Sarah graded papers, occasionally glancing at Daniel's face, willing him to wake up. Days turned into weeks. Daniel showed small improvements. Doctors removed the breathing tube. His vitals stabilized. But he didn't wake. Sarah learned Emma's medication schedule, dietary needs, doctor appointments. She learned Emma loved strawberry yogurt but hated mushrooms. That she liked being read to before bed. That she was terrified of thunderstorms. Sarah's life transformed. She moved Emma in permanently, buying a hospital bed and converting her living room. She cut her work hours to attend Emma's appointments. But something unexpected was happening. Sarah wasn't just caring for Emma out of obligation. She was falling in love with this brave little girl. One evening, 6 weeks after the shooting, Emma looked up from homework. Miss Sarah, why are you doing this? Sarah set down her dishes. How could she explain? Emma, when I was your age, I had a little sister named Rachel. She was 6, and she loved butterflies and painting. Sarah's voice cracked. One day at the pool, my mom asked me to watch Rachel. But I didn't want to. I wanted to swim with my friends. So I said okay, but then I swam away. Emma's hand found Sarah's. Rachel couldn't swim well. She had floaties, but they weren't enough. She went into the deep end. And I didn't notice. I was too busy playing. Tears streamed down Sarah's face. By the time my mom found her, it was too late. They tried to revive her, but she was gone. And it was my fault. That's why you became a teacher, Emma said softly. Yes. But the guilt never went away. I felt like I didn't deserve happiness. That's why I stayed with Tyler so long. Sarah looked into Emma's eyes. When your father threw himself in front of those bullets, he gave me something I'd been searching for. A chance to protect someone. To not fail this time. Taking care of you isn't a burden, Emma. It's a gift. Emma was quiet. Then she said, Rachel would be proud of you. And I'm glad I'm here with you. They held each other and cried. On day 53, something miraculous happened. Sarah and Emma were at the hospital for their daily visit. It had become their sacred routine. Emma would wheel herself right up to Daniel's bedside, take his hand, and talk. She'd tell him about her day, about the math problem she finally solved, about the butterflies she saw in the hospital garden, about everything and nothing. This particular afternoon, Emma was in the middle of telling Daniel about her science project. And then we added the vinegar to the baking soda, and it erupted like a volcano. It was so cool, Daddy. Mr. Peterson said I got an A+. He said it was the best volcano he'd seen in 10 years of teaching. Sarah sat in her usual corner, pretending to grade papers but really just watching Emma talk to her unconscious father. She'd memorized every word the little girl said, every hope and dream shared in this sterile room. Miss Sarah helped me with the hypothesis, Emma continued. She's really smart, Daddy. She knows so much about science. And she makes the best grilled cheese sandwiches. Not as good as yours, but pretty close. That's when it happened. Daniel's fingers twitched against Emma's palm. Sarah's pen froze midair. Emma, she breathed, barely daring to hope. Keep talking. Don't stop talking. Emma's eyes went wide, but she obeyed. Her voice grew stronger, more excited. Daddy? Daddy, can you hear me? It's Emma. You're Emma. I'm right here. I've been here every day, Daddy. Every single day. Miss Sarah brings me after school. We never miss a day. Daniel's fingers moved again, this time deliberately squeezing Emma's hand. Emma burst into tears, but she kept talking through them. I knew you'd come back. I told Miss Sarah you would. I told everyone. Because you promised me, remember? You promised you'd never leave me. Slowly, painfully slowly, Daniel's eyes began to flutter. His eyelids seemed so heavy, like they weighed 1,000 pounds. But he fought. Sarah could see him fighting to open them, fighting to come back to his daughter. Daniel's eyes focused on Emma's face. Baby, he croaked. My baby girl. Emma burst into tears. Daddy. You're awake. Of course I came back, Daniel whispered. Nothing could keep me from you. Sarah pressed the call button. Nurses rushed in, checking vitals. When they gave the family privacy, Daniel looked at Sarah. You stayed. I promised. Thank you for taking care of Emma. Daniel, I had to take emergency guardianship to prevent foster care. Emma's been living with me. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. You did that? For us? Your daughter is incredible. Taking care of her has been an honor. Daniel reached for Sarah's hand. I don't know how to thank you. You took 2 bullets for me. I'd say we're even. Over weeks, Daniel recovered. Sarah brought Emma daily. The little girl's joy was radiant. But as Daniel got stronger, Sarah felt a growing sadness settling in her chest. Soon, Emma would go home. Back to her normal life. Back to her father. As it should be. The thought of her apartment without Emma's laughter, without her endless questions about why the sky was blue or how birds knew where to fly, without her wheelchair tracks on the carpet and her drawings on the refrigerator, felt unbearable. The silence would be deafening. Sarah had known from the beginning that this was temporary. She was a placeholder, a stand-in until Emma's real parent could take over again. But somewhere along the way, in the middle of midnight medicine doses and breakfast negotiations and homework struggles, Emma had stopped being someone else's daughter and become hers. But Sarah would never, ever say that out loud. Emma belonged with her father. Daniel had literally taken bullets for his child. He'd earned the right to raise her. Sarah was just the teacher who'd stepped in during a crisis. Nothing more. Except it felt like so much more. On the day Daniel was finally discharged, Sarah helped Emma pack her things from the apartment. The little girl was ecstatic to be going home, bouncing in her wheelchair with excitement, but she kept looking at Sarah with troubled, conflicted eyes. Miss Sarah, will we still see you? Of course. I'm your teacher. But what about after school? Dinners and bedtime stories? Sarah's heart cracked. Emma, you'll be home with your daddy now. But I want both. I want daddy and you. Daniel appeared in the doorway. Emma, give us a minute. Emma nodded and wheeled away. Daniel sat carefully. Sarah, I need to say something. Let me say it all before you respond. Sarah nodded, heart pounding. These past 3 months, you've given Emma something I never could. Not just care, but a mother's love. I've seen the way she looks at you. The way she lights up when you walk in the room. The way she trusts you completely. The way she calls for you in the middle of the night when she has bad dreams. Daniel's voice thickened with emotion. Emma lost her mother before she ever knew her. Jessica died in childbirth, and I've carried that guilt every day. I've tried so hard to be enough, to be both parents, but I know I can't. Not completely. Emma needs a mother. And whether I like it or not, whether it scares me or not, she's already found one. You. Daniel, you're an incredible father. The best father I've ever seen. Please, let me finish. He took a shaky breath, wincing as his healing ribs protested. I've also seen the way you look at Emma. Like she hung the moon and stars. Like you'd fight the entire world for her. Like she's the answer to a prayer you didn't even know you were saying. And the way you look at me. He paused, his dark eyes holding hers. Sarah, I've been half in love with you since the first parent-teacher conference, when you sat across from me and talked about Emma not as a disability or a burden, but as this amazing, brilliant kid with unlimited potential. When you talked about her dreams and goals like they were absolutely achievable. I thought you were the most beautiful person I'd ever met. Not just physically, though you are beautiful. But your soul. The way you see people. The way you love. Sarah's breath caught. I know this is crazy. We barely know each other. But I have to ask. Would you consider being part of our lives? Not as Emma's teacher or guardian, but as something more permanent. As a family? Sarah stared at him. I'm not proposing marriage. Not yet. But I'm asking if you'd be willing to try. To date, to see if this could work. Because Emma needs you. And honestly, so do I. Sarah thought about Rachel. About years of guilt. About how this broken family had healed something in her. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I want to try. Daniel's smile was like sunrise. Really? Really? But I'm broken too. I carry guilt and I'm scared I'll fail Emma. You won't, Daniel said firmly. You're the person who fought the system to keep Emma safe. You rearranged your life for a child who wasn't yours. Sarah, you're the opposite of failure. They sat holding hands, crying and laughing, while Emma played in the next room, unaware her family had just gotten bigger. The months that followed weren't easy. Daniel struggled with PTSD. Sarah worked through guilt. Emma had moments of jealousy. They went to therapy. They argued about small things like whose turn it was to do dishes, and big things like how to discipline the children. They cried together when the nightmares came. They learned each other's rhythms and moods and needs. Sarah discovered that Daniel couldn't sleep if the house was too quiet. The silence reminded him of that moment in the hospital when he thought he was dying. So she started leaving soft music playing at night. Daniel learned that Sarah needed physical reassurance. After years with Tyler, who had used touch as a weapon, she'd forgotten that hands could be gentle. So he made sure to hold her hand while they watched TV, to kiss her forehead when he passed her in the kitchen, to wrap his arms around her when she was stressed. Emma watched them figure it out, sometimes offering surprisingly wise advice for a 10-year-old. Daddy, when Mom gets quiet like that, it means she's worried. You should ask her what's wrong. Or, Mom, Daddy's shoulder hurts more when it's going to rain. Maybe make him some hot tea. They became a team, the three of them. Imperfect and messy and beautiful. Sarah moved into Daniel's house because it was adapted for Emma. Tyler was sentenced to 15 years. Sarah attended the hearing, not for closure, but to face her past. When Tyler was led away, he looked at her. "I'm sorry," he mouthed. Sarah didn't respond. She walked into Daniel's arms. 6 months after Daniel came home, he proposed. A quiet evening after Emma slept. He knelt in their living room, wincing at healing tissue, holding out a simple ring. "Sarah Mitchell, you saved my daughter's life by letting me save yours. You've made us whole. Will you marry me?" "Yes. 1,000 times, yes." They told Emma the next morning. Her squeal was deafening. "Does this mean you'll be my real mom?" "If you want me to be," Sarah said carefully. "You're not replacing her. You're just being my mom now. Daddy says love doesn't run out. Your daddy is very smart." "I know. He married you, didn't he?" The wedding was small and beautiful. Emma was the flower girl, decorating her wheelchair with ribbons and roses. During the vows, Emma wheeled forward. "I have something to say. Miss Sarah, you saved my daddy's life by being in danger. He saved yours by being brave. Then you both saved me by loving me. So I want to make a promise too." Emma pulled out paper with her careful handwriting. "I promise to always be brave like my daddy. I promise to always be kind like my mom Sarah. And I promise to remember that families aren't about blood. They're about who shows up. Who protects. Who loves." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. 3 years later, Sarah stood in her classroom, now decorated with Emma's photos. Parent-teacher conference night. After the last parent left, Daniel appeared with Emma, now 12. "How did it go?" "Great. I love this job. We brought dinner," Emma announced. "And I got an A on my history project." As they ate on Sarah's desk, Emma asked, "Tell me the story again. About the day Daddy saved you." Sarah and Daniel exchanged glances. "Your daddy threw himself in front of bullets to protect me," Sarah began. "He didn't think. He just acted." "Because that's what heroes do," Emma said. "No," Daniel corrected. "That's what fathers do. What parents do. We protect the people we love, no matter the cost." "And then Miss Sarah became my guardian," Emma continued. "And then she became my wife," Daniel added, kissing Sarah's temple. "And then we became a family," Emma finished. "The best family in the whole world." Sarah looked at her husband and daughter, at the life they'd built from tragedy and love. 5 years after the shooting, Riverside Elementary held an assembly. They dedicated a new wing, funded by donations after the shooting made national news. The Carter Wing. Named after the father who risked everything. Daniel stood at the podium, Emma beside him, now 15. Sarah sat in front, hand on her swollen belly. Their second daughter would arrive in 3 months. "I'm not a hero," Daniel told the crowd. "I'm just a father who did what any parent would do." But the real heroes turned tragedy into hope. He gestured to the new wing, housing an adaptive learning center, counseling office, and safe room. "This building exists because people saw something terrible and decided to make sure it never happens again." Emma wheeled to the microphone. 5 years ago, my dad saved my teacher's life. But what he really saved was our future. Miss Mitchell became my mom. My dad found love. And I learned that family isn't about biology. It's about choice. About showing up. About love. The applause was thunderous. 8 years after the shooting, Emma graduated valedictorian. She'd been accepted to MIT with a full scholarship to study biomedical engineering. At graduation, Emma gave a speech. "When I was 9, a man came to my school with a gun. My father threw himself in front of that gun. He took 2 bullets and almost died. But he survived. And in surviving, he taught me, love is the strongest force in the universe. Emma looked at her parents. Daniel held little Rachel, 5 years old. Sarah held Michael, 3 years old. My dad didn't think about pain when he protected Miss Mitchell. He just loved. And that love created our family. Emma's voice grew stronger. My mom chose to love me when she didn't have to. She fought to keep me. She learned to care for a kid with cerebral palsy. That choice changed my life. In months, I'm going to MIT. But I'll carry what my parents taught me. Heroism isn't about being fearless. It's about loving someone so much that fear doesn't matter. It's about showing up. About protecting, even when it costs everything. Emma looked directly at them. Dad, Mom, thank you for showing me what real love looks like. For being my heroes. For teaching me that scars are just proof that we survived. That we fought. That we loved. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. Later, at their home, Daniel found Sarah alone. Can you believe our baby is going to MIT? Sarah laughed. Our baby is brilliant. Remember when you were terrified you'd fail her? I was so scared. Look at her now. Daniel gestured at Emma, surrounded by friends, laughing. You didn't fail her. You gave her wings. We gave her wings. Together. Daniel pulled Sarah close. That gunman thought he was ending something. But he was starting something. Something beautiful. Our family. Exactly. From violence came love. From fear came courage. From almost losing everything, we gained everything that matters. 10 years after the shooting, Sarah published a book. The Scar That Saved Us, a story of tragedy, love, and redemption. It told their story honestly. The violence. The fear. The guilt. The healing. The love. It became a bestseller. Sarah donated proceeds to organizations supporting gun violence families and children with disabilities. Tyler wrote after reading the book. He was still in prison, eligible for parole in 2 years. Sarah, thank you for telling the truth about me without making me a monster. Thank you for showing that hurt people, but we can all change. I'm still working on redemption. Your story gives me hope. Sarah wrote back. Not because she owed him, but because she believed in second chances. Because Daniel taught her that forgiveness was about freeing yourself from hate. Emma read the book too. 19 now, thriving at MIT. Mom, I finished your book. I'm so proud. For being brave enough to share our story. For proving that love is stronger than violence. Emma, you made me brave. You and your father. No, Mom. You showed me. When you fought to keep me, when you chose to love me, you showed me that love is a choice. And choosing to love is the bravest thing anyone can do. After they hung up, Sarah sat with those words. Love is a choice. She thought about 9-year-old Emma, scared and traumatized. About herself, broken and guilty. About Daniel, scarred but refusing to regret. They had all chosen love, again and again, even when it hurt. That choice had saved them all. 15 years after the shooting, Daniel and Sarah stood in the same hospital where Daniel almost died. But this time for joy. Emma was getting married. Due to complications from cerebral palsy, Emma chose the hospital chapel. She wanted to honor where her father fought for his life. Where their family truly began. Emma looked stunning in a custom dress for her wheelchair. Her fiancé, James, looked at her like she was everything. Daniel walked Emma down the aisle, hand on her wheelchair. Tears streamed down his face. At the altar, Emma stood. With tremendous effort and James's support, she stood on her own feet for vows. James, you see me. Not my wheelchair. Not my disability. You see my dreams, my strength, my heart. You choose to love me every day, and that choice is the greatest gift. Sarah couldn't stop crying. Rachel, 13, and Michael, 11, stood beside her, watching their sister. At the reception, Emma asked Daniel and Sarah to join her for a toast. 15 years ago, in this hospital, my dad was fighting for his life. Sarah was fighting to keep me. I was fighting to not lose everything. Emma raised her glass. We were all broken. All scared. All uncertain. She looked at her parents with pure love. But we survived. We thrived. We built a family on sacrifice and love. Dad, you gave your body. Mom, you gave your heart. Together, you taught me that real strength isn't about never falling. It's about choosing to get back up. Choosing to love. Choosing to hope. Emma's voice broke. So this toast is for you. For showing me that heroes don't wear capes. They wear dad jeans and teacher outfits. They cook dinner and help with homework. They show up every day. They choose love, even when love is hard. Especially when love is hard. To Daniel and Sarah Carter, the best parents in the world. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for showing me that families aren't born, they're built. One choice at a time. One sacrifice at a time. One moment of courage at a time. The applause was thunderous. Later, Daniel stood alone looking at a plaque on the wall. In memory of the day love proved stronger than violence. November 2010. Sarah joined him, slipping her hand into his. Do you ever come back here in your mind? To that day? Sometimes. In dreams. I see Tyler raise the gun. I see your face. I see Emma. And I move. Just like then. Without thinking. Just loving. Do you dream about dying? No. I dream about living. About all of this. About Emma's graduation. Her wedding. About Rachel and Michael. About you. I dream about the life we built from that moment. Sarah leaned against him. If Tyler hadn't come. If you hadn't taken those bullets. We wouldn't have this. Are you saying you're grateful he shot me? Daniel teased. No. Never. I hate that you were hurt. That Emma was traumatized. That we suffered. Sarah looked up. But I'm grateful for what came after. For the choice you made. For the family we became. Me too. Every scar was worth it. They stood in that hallway, 15 years older but infinitely richer in love, watching their daughter dance through the window. Sarah understood something profound: healing doesn't erase the wound. It transforms it. It takes broken pieces and creates something new. Something beautiful. Something stronger. Daniel's scars would always be there. Sarah's guilt about Rachel would always whisper. Emma would always need her wheelchair. Tyler would always carry his weight. But from those scars, that guilt, that disability, that violence, something miraculous had grown. A family. Not perfect. Not without pain. But real. Honest. Built on sacrifice and choice and unwavering love. That was the truth that shocked everyone. The truth that changed everything. Love doesn't prevent scars. Love transforms them into something sacred. Something worth having. Something that saves us all. Daniel Carter took 2 bullets. And those bullets, meant to destroy, ended up creating the most beautiful thing in the world. A family forged in fire. Strengthened by struggle. Bound by unbreakable love. That was their story. Their truth. Their miracle. And it all started with one choice: to protect. To love. To jump in front of the gun. The rest was just life. Beautiful, messy, painful, joyful, human life. And it was worth every scar.